One of the most fun activities to do around the holidays is build a gingerbread house. Ginger has its roots in ancient times, and the first known recipe for gingerbread comes from Greece in 2400 BC. While bread with spice has been around for some time, the man most credited with bringing gingerbread to Europe, specifically France, was an Armenian monk named Gregory Makar. In 991, Gregory was forced from his home by the Persian army and traveled west to France, where he lived as a hermit in a cave near a church. He was well liked and lived mostly off roots and honey, and used these to make a cake recipe from his homeland. While not exactly the gingerbread we all know today, this sweet spiced cake is what spread throughout Europe. Gregory taught it to local French Christian bakers, and they eventually showed the Germans, and the Germans eventually showed the Swedish, and so on. Soon after, the 11th century Crusades brought large quantities of spices to Europe, one of them being ginger. Decorative gingerbread began around the 13th century when monks would carve biblical scenes into the dough before baking. Shaping gingerbread became popular, and Queen Elizabeth I is credited with popularizing gingerbread men in the 16th century. She'd often request gingerbread to be made in the shape of important guests. Gingerbread became so beloved that festivals and fairs were made just for it. They had gingerbread in all shapes and sizes, like animals, flowers, armor, and houses, it would seem. The exact origins aren't clear, but gingerbread houses saw massive growth and popularity in Germany after the publication of Hansel and Gretel in 1812 by Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm. In the fairy tale, two children come across a house of bread, cake, and sugar. German bakers became inspired and began creating gingerbread houses just like the one in the story. Given that gingerbread was popular for celebrations, Queen Victoria fancied the bread for Christmas thanks to her German husband, which is where it became more associated with Christmas time. Stay tuned for day 7.